Hello, welcome to Literally Speaking. In today's episode of Let's Talk Toastmasters, you do see a lot of manuals and books on this table. What are they? They're actually the
Advanced Communication Manuals from Toastmasters International.
And since we thought it's going to be phased out in the year of 2020, end of June, right?
Yes.
We decided to pay a bit of tribute for the path that actually made it so long before we changed to pathways. Now, because of that, we are going to do a top 10 video of the favorite advanced communication manuals that we've done and enjoyed so much.
Do take note that this is our personal preference. This is not an official ranking from Toastmasters. It's okay to have a different list of top 10, so feel free to agree to disagree with our selection. We'll be ranking them based on how fun they were to listen as an audience, as well as to prepare as the speaker, how challenging and how the difficulty progresses from each project to the last, and finally the learning outcomes and the overall unity and strength of all 5 projects put together. And with that, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the heat of the moment. Let's start with number 10. So
At number 10, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the Public Relations Manual. Now, Public Relations Manual, as the name suggests, deals with the public. Well, it is something that you will have to either make an announcement, deliver a message to the crowd, or up to the point where you have to do something like speak under fire and things like that. Now, when I was doing this project, these 5 projects here, the first 3 projects were somewhat easy. They were very easy to complete and it didn't require much of the participation from the audience. It is only up till project number 4 and number 5, which is the speaking under fire as well as the crisis management, where suddenly the difficulty spikes up by a lot. It was very fun to do that 2 projects, but we didn't see the progression as something that was step by step. It was too huge of a jump, somewhat imbalanced, but still something that we have learned much from. So because of that, we have decided to put it at number 10.
And moving on to number 9, we have the Professional Speaker Manual. This manual is very famous, very popular, not in terms of how many people you see doing the manual, but in terms of how long the manual is. It is notorious for having the longest duration of its projects, the shortest one being 15 to 20 minutes, while the longest project, which is the 4th project, the Professional Seminar, takes a time between 20 to 40 minutes. So because of the duration, it is very rarely done, very rarely selected by Toastmasters because it is almost impossible to get a speech slot. A lot of clubs will find it very difficult to give you a speech slot if you do this project because other people also want to give their speeches. And one 20 to 40 minute speech can easily take up another 3 or 4 speech slots from the rest of the members, and because of that, it's very rare to see someone attempting this manual. But if you do see someone attempting this project, it is a very unique project in the sense that a lot of the speeches need you to hone your training skills. A lot of it has audience engagement, a lot of it has you really practicing as a trainer. So if you're aspiring to be a trainer, the Professional Speaker Manual is a very good manual to choose. If you're not, I highly suggest that perhaps you want to look at other manuals. It's not a bad manual, it's a great manual with a lot of freedom to choose your topics from. It's just that the duration can make it very difficult to complete. But because of these reasons, we decided to put a Professional Speaker Manual at number 9.
And coming in at number 8, something that both of us actually enjoyed quite a bit. It is the Interpretive Reading Manual. Now, the Interpretive Reading Manual basically requires you to have a reading piece, and whether it's an article, a story, or a script in front of you, and you have to read it out to your audience. Now there's no hand movements, gestures or anything. You actually will need to read it in front of with a podium in front of you. So it relies heavily on your vocal capacity. If you can speak very loud, soft, all the drama that you need to do, you have to only portray it with your voice. Now if you're someone who is in the performing arts, or you have a strong interest in these type of things, then you would definitely love this manual. But at the same time, we also realize that the first project all the way to the last project seems to be repetitive. It's very same. The only thing is probably the duration and the situation of the project itself. So therefore we felt that the interpretive reading is pretty much like a one-trick pony. Very engaging and very nice to do if you love performing arts. But other than that, it's at number 8.
Moving on to lucky number 7, we have the Storytelling Manual. This manual is one of the most popular manuals amongst those who are attempting projects from advanced communication, simply because of how universal the manual is. Storytelling is something that is applied to almost any speech, and because of that, a lot of Toastmasters find it very natural to progress into the Storytelling Manual. Now, as opposed to the Interpretive Reading Manual, which entirely focuses on voice and reading from the script, the Storytelling Manual needs you to basically tell a story like how you would perform it to children, for example. So how you use it to engage, how you can talk about a folk tale, to even bringing history to life. So there's a lot of freedom, a lot of variety in how you can deliver the stories. It's just that in terms of the structure, in terms of the flow, all 5 projects in the Storytelling Manual mostly follow a very story-like structure. And we decided to put it at number 7 simply because of how common it is in meetings. If we look at the meeting program and we see a storytelling advanced speech, we don't really have much to expect because we've seen so many of it. But regardless, it is a great manual to practice on. Storytelling is a very fundamental skill to have, whether you are a Toastmaster or not. So feel free to have a look at it, and it is still a wonderful manual, and because of that, we put it at number 7.
And coming in at number 6 is something that will tickle your funny bone. We're talking about the Humorously Speaking Advanced Manual. Now, as the name suggests, it is something that will teach you how to incorporate jokes in your speeches. Whether it is a speech that is very serious and you're trying to break complexities, or we are just trying to lighten the mood after discussing something very heavy. So Humorously Speaking teaches you to incorporate jokes in your speech to make things much easier to follow and to give people a breather when they really need to. When we look at the speech, all the speeches overall, there are 5 speeches in there. It starts off with teaching you how to incorporate a joke in your introduction. The second one would teach you how to do something in the introduction and tie it in with your conclusion, a joke as well. And it goes on and forth until the very 5th one, which is totally out there to tickle all your audience all the way to the end for 5 to 7 minutes. It is a very rather difficult manual to attempt, purely because in Malaysia, the sense of humor may not be so evident. Maybe people are a little bit more serious when it comes to that. So while it is one that is difficult, it is still doable, and if you see your audience laughing, you know you have hit the mark in making sure this manual is completed properly.
We're halfway there, and at number 5 we have the Specialty Speeches Manual. Now this manual is always mistaken for the Special Occasions Manual because both of them have the word special, but they are 2 very different manuals. Now the Specialty Speeches Manual is something that is very unique in the sense that all 5 projects inside this manual are very varied. Your first project needs you to speak impromptu for 5 to 7 minutes. Your third project needs you to be a salesman, and your fifth project needs you to be the Toastmaster of the day or the evening, which is basically like the MC. So this project inside this manual really covers a lot of different skills for public speaking. It really touches base with a lot of different techniques and a lot of different abilities that you need to be a better public speaker overall. But because of how widespread it is, and because of how it never really focuses on a particular strength, it is something like a jack of all trades, master of none. Regardless, it is a great manual to attempt if you are someone who is still unsure of what manual to undertake when you are attempting your advanced communicator, whether bronze or silver or gold. This is a great manual to do because you get to experience a little bit of everything and find out where your strengths are. But because of how varied it is, we put it at number 5.
And coming in at number 4, something very close to number 3 actually, and something that both of us really enjoy doing. Now I know we've been saying that we enjoy quite a lot of the manuals, but seriously this is one that really we took a fancy into it, and that is the Entertaining Speaker Manual. Now, like the Humorously Speaking Manual, because today's trend for public speaking tends to go into the humorous part, but the Entertaining Speaker actually delves deeper into that because it discusses and also tries to bring out more than just humor as an emotion. They are looking into things like a dramatic talk, something that makes you tug at your heartstrings and things like that. To put it very plainly, the Entertaining Speaker is one that actually puts in humanity in advanced manual. Now, why do I say so? Because in each of these projects that you attempt, each of it aims to bring out the human side of us all. When we listen to, whether you are the audience or you're the speaker, you will tend to speak from your heart. And we particularly enjoy the last 2 projects, which is the dramatic talk, which allows you to not just bring humor out, but all sorts of different emotions in your speech, as well as the after dinner talk, which is something that is very important, a skill that's very important in your career in the future. Probably something that you will be using a lot more when you come out to work then. So anyway, speaking after dinner is something that engages people. You know, people are already very satiated with their food and all, but they require something to continue the conversation further. So this is something that will help, and it will actually make you the talk of the party. So that's at number 4.
And we are now moving into our top 3. So our number 3, the second runner-up in our favorite advanced communication manuals, is the Communicating on Video Manual. Now this, of course, we are a bit biased because we are doing that right now. Ooh, look, the paper came out. But anyways, this manual is very interesting because it uses a lot of video recording in its objectives. It's not mandatory, but it's highly recommended that you record each one of your speeches. And the projects themselves are very interesting and exciting. You get to play an interviewee, you get to play interviewer, you get to host your own conference, and you even get to instruct online on the internet. So these projects allow for great freedom of topic choice, as long as it adheres to the recording and how you address the audience, which is through a camera lens. And ladies and gentlemen, see, I'm already saying ladies and gentlemen, I'm so used to doing this because this manual brings back so many fond memories of how it led to Literally Speaking. Because before we formed the YouTube channel, we actually, me and Seki and I attempted this manual together, and for the 5th project, we decided to do the instructing on internet project simultaneously. We instructed on internet as a duo. It's only a year later, we suddenly thought of, hey, remember that speech we did together? And that is how, through that, we managed to bring Literally Speaking to life. So this manual has a lot of fond memories for us, but at the same time, it is very hip, very modern, very technical in terms of the technology part, but still great flexibility of topic, and it's very fun overall for the audience, whether you're watching an interview or a conference or even listening to an online instruction live. But because of that, we decided to put the communicating on video manual at number 3.
And coming in at the number 2 spot, the first runner-up goes to the special occasion speeches, the one that is constantly mixed up with specialty speeches, specialty occasions. Yeah, even I always get mixed up with that. But anyway, the special occasion speeches manual is something that I highly recommend, especially to all Toastmasters, purely because it captures the essence of being a Toastmaster in itself. The name Toastmasters is derived from the role of the person who always proposes the toast. And in the first project, you are already trying to master the toast. So you go around, and the 5 speeches in there, while they are all short, they have extreme high learning in terms of the techniques that you use as a Toastmaster to be the person who hosts something, to talk about the I think there's a speaking praise in there. There's also what other things in here? It's a lot of teaching you how to present an award and also how to receive an award with dignity. So this particular manual captures fully, as I've said, captures the essence of Toastmasters very all-rounded and very fully. So we definitely enjoyed the special occasions speeches for our manuals.
We have covered from number 10 to number 2 so far. We are about to announce the number 1, but before we do that, let's have a recap of the manuals that we have mentioned so far.
And coming in at number 10 is the Public Relations Manual.
Number 9, the Professional Speaker.
Number 8, Interpretive Reading.
Number 7, Storytelling.
Number 6, Humorously Speaking.
And number 5, Specialty Speeches.
Number 4, the Entertaining Speaker.
Number 3, Communicating on Video.
And number 2, Special Occasion Speeches.
And our number 1 most favorite advanced communication manual goes to, drumroll please, Facilitating Discussions.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was rather unexpected, but please allow me to explain why. Now, the Facilitating Discussions manual is also very long. I believe that it is the second longest in duration as compared to the Professional Speaker, which is the longest. But the Facilitating Discussions manual has a certain advantage over Professional Speaker simply because the timing duration allows for 2 options. A slightly longer one and a slightly shorter one, which shaves off around 5 or so minutes from the original timing. So that's one bonus. And I believe the best part about this manual is that all 5 projects really makes use of the audience. The manual needs the audience to also talk as much as the speaker, if not slightly less. But because of how much audience engagement and participation is involved in this manual, it is super fun. I've never seen a Facilitating Discussions project being boring even once, because these 5 projects naturally increase in terms of difficulty, partly because of the audience, not so much the speaker. So in the first project, you become a panel moderator. Towards the end, at the 4th project, you have to handle challenging situations, and finally, you have to reach a consensus with the audience. So as you can see, the audience members naturally turn from maybe a more civil one into an angry mob. So it's hilarious to see people coming to meetings with Facilitating Discussion speeches purely just to try to trip the speaker up. It's always a blast to watch. It is super memorable. And let's face it, we're all Toastmasters. We love to talk. And this manual lets the audience talk more than any other manual. So because of how fun it is for both the speaker and the audience, because of its flexibility in timing, the flexibility in topic choice, and basically it's just pure fun, we decide to put the Facilitating Discussions manual in number 1.
And that ends our top 10 advanced manuals based on our favorites. Now, it is very important to note again, this is not an official ranking of any sort. It is something that is purely based on our personal preference and how we saw that, it naturally progresses into the top for us. Now, if you do have a different list of manuals that you would like to share, please do leave a comment below so that not to compare and tell whose is better, but to understand you as a Toastmaster and to know whether you actually enjoy the same things we do or maybe something that is rather different from ours. It is important for us to share because when we share, we also know who's actually watching us.
And speaking of sharing, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. If you are a Toastmaster or you know Toastmaster friends, feel free to share them this video and facilitate discussions with whose manual is better in terms of your own personal preference. But that is pretty much all. We had a blast filming this long video. We hope you did too. And yes, please do spread more awareness about the Advanced Communication Manual. It's only a matter of time before we cannot do it officially at meetings anymore. So spread the love. We believe that they really need the love.
Yeah, and well, that comes to the end of our video for today. If you like us to do more top 10 videos in this Let's Talk Toastmaster session or any of our other videos, do leave us a comment and note down what your ideas are. We may very much choose your idea and credit you in our video as well. So till then,
Keep learning,
keep enjoying,
and keep watching
Literally Speaking.